is the flavor of Singapore. This is magic for your soul. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Singapore. Yes, it has the iconic Gardens by the Bay, the observation flyer wheel, and the panoramic cable cars, but do not come here without first discovering the true heart of this country. Today we are diving into Singapore's hawker centers, exploring the vibrant food culture that makes this island city-state so unique. And stick around because I'll not just show you what to eat, but I'll reveal the incredible history behind these iconic food stalls and why they're more than just a place to grab a bite. They're a window into Singapore's soul. Our first stop here, well, it's Jackson Square. We're in the little town of Toa Payoh inside of Singapore. And this is where we're getting some eats. Now right behind me back there, well, that's Chef Kang's Noodle House, and we're getting his famous char siu. Chef Kang delivered. Look at this right here, the char siu, pink, white to pink, and then on the edges, blackened from the cooking. And then inside right here we got the option with the shredded abalone. It's adding an ocean mix to the dish. Just, I think it's gonna make it complete. The noodles, well, they're springy, imported straight from Hong Kong, and adding an authentic touch to this dish. All of this is only 12 Singaporean dollars, and it includes on the side a dish of wontons. Wontons are delicious, but this is not why we've come here. We've come here for these springy noodles. Inside this plate, in addition to the char siu, we have bits of greens, some vegetables mixed in. In there also, we have these little bits of pork fat, making the dish ever so, well, even more richer. Look at that. Of course, we have the noodles, we have the pork, we have the abalone. This is surf and turf, cooked to absolute perfection. Add it all together, this is the flavor of Singapore. Now this is great. Some tourists, when they first land, they may go to the Gardens by the Bay, go see the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, but for me, it's the hawker centers. And I grew up in Oklahoma. The most exotic thing I had growing up was, well, when my mom would cook lasagna for me every year on my birthday. I remember sometimes during high school, I'd come home during the lunch break with my friend Jennifer, and my mom would cook up microwavable pizzas. I mean, it was basic Midwestern food, and to be here in Southeast Asia, eating some of this Michelin awarded plate, oh, I'm a lucky boy. Now, getting to a hawker center is easy. Just from your hotel or your Airbnb, wherever you're staying in Singapore, grab a taxi or use one of the ride-hailing apps like Uber, or what's really popular here, Grab. Which hawker center to go to? Well, ask at the reception at the hotel, or ask your friends, or ask around in Singapore. Once you get to a hawker center, and this isn't a true hawker center, we'll get to those next. Once you get to the hawker center, it's easy to find the stall you want to get to. All the stalls have numbers, and you can simply go down the row and find the right number, like you're looking for a house number on a street. And I'm gonna list all these hawker stalls I visit today down in the description below. If you don't have one in mind, a particular one in mind, well, don't worry, because there are plenty of good ones. Ask around some of the locals once you get to the center. Some of the big centers are like Maxwell, Lau Pa Sat, and of course Chinatown Hawker Center, the Chinatown Food Complex. Ask around one of the locals and they'll point you to a great food stall. If you have even more doubts, well, just walk around, see what looks good, and then when you find one that has a huge line outside of it, well, you're guaranteed they're gonna be serving up great dishes. We are at the Tekka Center, and this is one of the major hawker centers in Singapore, and it's famous for its Indian food. In fact, we're gonna get into some of that. Now, are you curious why these hawker centers have become so iconic and so important for Singapore? Well, stick with me, I'll explain it to you. Oh, this beats sitting in your hotel, eating the buffet. Forget about that. This is the real life of Singapore. Right over here behind me is Delhi Lahori, specializing in North Indian and Pakistani food, curries, and what we're here for today, naan bread. This place is buzzing. It's a Sunday, and you can tell why this place is so popular, because all the aromas, everything coming out of the different food stalls. And this is food stall number 1266. So easy to locate. There's a map when you come in and you can find them. Friendly guys, the owners from Pakistan. And right here, this is what you want. This is the garlic butter naan, and this is the straight up naan. Only $150 for this, and about $350 for this. You get a side of curry on the side to dip it in, and it comes to $850 total. Their naan is charcoal cooked, not an electric oven. We saw it there, the big pot. He slaps it in on the inside. When it's finished, you get this smoky bit outside. How is it, good? This garlic cheese naan is massive, pillowy, so satisfying. It can be a meal on its own, and with this curry, wow. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The butter chicken curry is rich and creamy and a perfect pairing with this naan. Now we're only touching the surface of what's on offer here in the Tekka Center and these hawker centers. These guys right here, they're enjoying some biryani, chicken biryani, and just having a good Sunday with some beers as well, as you do. Now just look at this. It's airy, it's thick, it's a lot like pizza dough, but it's not. It's not. This is pure Northern Indian naan bread. And really, the kick of the garlic, the kick of the cheese that they put on top of it after they pull it out of that warm charcoal oven. Really, this is magic for your soul. Hint, hint, these guys are liking and subscribing. If you haven't done so yet, please do me a favor. Click that subscribe button down below. It'll make sure you're not missing out on any of the upcoming videos, and it helps me grow the channel to get this channel out to other food and travel lovers like ourselves. Thank you. Now what sets the food stall there apart, Delhi Lahori, it's the use of a charcoal oven, a traditional charcoal oven. It sets it apart from the rest of the pack that's using the electric stove ovens. And I think you can see the difference, and if you can't see it, when you taste it, you'll definitely taste the difference. That charcoal, smoky flavor. Oh yeah. And the plain naan, with the plain naan, you're gonna definitely need the butter chicken curry. Yeah, there it is right there. This isn't just bread, it's a fluffy, smoky, pillowy masterpiece. So good. Now remember, in Singapore, you always need to bus your tables. Never, never leave your plates on the table. You'll get scolded and potentially fined. Now, hawker centers started popping up in Singapore around about the time the country gained its independence, maybe around 100 years ago or so. The country wanted a place to center all the food stalls and clean up the streets, because the hawkers were all out in the streets everywhere, making it kind of dirty, and in this way it became organized. Thailand's thinking about doing the same thing with some of their street food vendors. And what it created in doing so are these cultural hubs, rich cultural hubs, where all the different sort of nationalities and backgrounds come together. You have to remember, Singapore, this island city state, is a great mix of Chinese, Indian, Malay, all coming here together to work and build communities, and with that bringing their food culture and going around to some of the 200 hawker centers here in Singapore. you can taste those different cultures. There are so many to choose from. Of course, if you're in the business district, it's easy to hop over to Lau Pa Sat or the Chinatown Food Complex, the Tekka Center, or one of my favorites, Old Airport Road. And stick with me, I'm gonna take you to one of the most well-known and biggest street food hawker hubs here in Singapore. We've just arrived at our third and final food stop of the day. You and I are eating quite a lot. This is the ABC Brickworks Market, and we're in for some Malay food. You might remember this guy from my last Hawker Food Center video. Hello, wow. Good to see you. We just randomly bumped into each other. Good to see you again. Oh, we got some bad news. Our laksa joint is sold out.
Some laksa, where else can you get?
But it's more coconut.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Okay, we can try it.
Well, never fear. This Michelin guide, Penang style laksa, they've already sold out. That's the thing, the good ones sell out early. But never fear, because you bump into some locals or some old friends there like KK, and they direct you somewhere else. Instead of mint style laksa, this one here, coconut style. Let's try it.
No more. Finish.
Oh, the laksa sold out here too.
Yeah.
Ah.
No more.
Now I have my Grab taxi driver taking me to another laksa place. This is great. Third time is a charm. And this place, like the second one we tried, it's a coconut-based curry, and it's a Malay Chinese infusion in this plate. We have our cockles inside. We also have fish cake as well. Big chunks. Look at it, there's that fish cake right in there. The cockles right there. This right here is a healthy, hearty combination, and for me, made all the more better by the two friends that helped me find this place and helped us get into this laksa. This just isn't your typical bowl of noodles. This is tangy, mild, made even more mild with the coconut. You get the sourness from the tamarind, a little kick from the spice, and that nice texture from the noodles, everything together in this little bowl. It's like Singapore and the hawker communities itself. It just all comes together in one place, and everybody smiles and everybody eats and everybody's happy. Oh yeah. Now with the noodles, you're gonna have wheat, rice, or egg noodles. I believe these are wheat noodles we have here today. That's your typical laksa plate. And the toppings, well, it can be anything. Seafood, tofu, cockles, chicken, any sort of option, and it's a hell of a bargain as well. $3.50 for a bowl of flavor-packed perfection. You'd be paying triple that anywhere else in the world, but not here in Singapore and not for this laksa. Oh. You can see there's a real sense of community in these hawker centers, not just on a Sunday. Everybody comes together and everybody knows and has his or her favorite stall as well. And that's one of the things I love about Singapore, and I hope I'm able to show that here for you. And it's important as well because the older generation, some of these stalls have been here for around 60 years, and the younger generation, and you can't blame them, they don't want to work the long, hard hours manning one of these stalls over a hot walk. And so a lot of these stalls, a lot of the hawker stalls are going out of business. So do your part, help me as well, and support these hawker centers when you're here in Singapore. And by the way, if you want all sorts of insider information like this, I'm putting out a regular email newsletter with all sorts of travel tips and hacks, things like this, things like traveling to Singapore and going to a hawker center. There's a link to join in the description. Also, if you'd like to get even more exclusive information, well, join my Patreon as well. There's a link for that in the description. So my same Grab driver waited for me the whole time while I ate. Thank you, and he bought me a treat. Keeps getting better in Singapore. The Singaporeans are nice. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Come to Singapore. Thank you, man.
Anytime.
Thank you. Remember I promised I'd take you to one of the biggest and most exciting hawker centers here in the central part of Singapore? Well, it's too much to cover in this video, and I made a whole nother video about it, so continue the adventure right here by watching this video.